verse 27, Ulladhu Naarpadhu, 40 verses on reality given to us by Sri Ramana Maharshi. நானுதியாதுள்ள நிலை நாமதுவாயுள்ள நிலை நானுதிக்கும் ஸ்தானமதை நாடாமல் நானுதியா தன்னிழப்பை சார்வதவன் சாராமல் தானதுவாம் தன்னிலையில் நிற்பதவன் சாற்று. This again is about the same mechanism as you all know now. Sri Bhagavan gave us one method. Who am I? That's all. Seeking the source of the ego, ahankara, our psychological sense of I, our bodily sense of I. This is the method. If you question which is the origin, who is it that is appearing as this ego, it topples down, it goes and merges in its source, and Atma, we will recognize that is already shining forth. It is always shining forth as one. Okay. And this verse talks about the same thing. Nanudiyadulla nilai, a state in which the ego doesn't arise at all. Nanudiyadulla nilai. Nam aduvayulla nilai, a state in which we are Brahman. Which means in the absence of ego, we remain as Brahman, that state. நானுதியாதுள்ள நிலை நாமதுவாயுள்ள நிலை நானுதிக்கும் ஸ்தானமதை நாடாமல் நானுதியா தன்னிழப்பை சார்வதவன். Simple. How can you get to attain that state in which the ego is absent without seeking its source? I'll repeat. How can you get to that state where the ego doesn't arise at all without seeking the source? So if you seek the source, you will get that state where the ego does not arise at all. Right? நானுதியாதுள்ள நிலை நாமதுவாயுள்ள நிலை நானுதிக்கும் ஸ்தானமதை நாடாமல் நானுதியா தன்னிழப்பை சார்வதவன் சாராமல் தானதுவாம் தன்னிலையில் நிற்பதவன் சாற்று. So without attaining that egoless state, how can you remain as Brahman? That's all. What is the goal? Self-realization. Knowing our true nature. That is being our true nature, being Brahman. So, how is it possible? Simple, very simple. The verse says, seek the source of ego, ego will go. Only Atma will be left, that is you. But how can you attain that state? How can you establish yourself in that state without seeking the source of the ego? Because this is the mechanism Sri Bhagavan taught. It is by following this method that he also attained in Madurai at the age of 16. Simple. So the mechanism is what we have already discussed. But certain truth has to be repeated ad nauseum till it, drills down into our core and it alters our being. It will help us get rid of the ego. This is a continuous process. We cannot say, why are you repeating it ad nauseum? See, certain truth has to be repeated. There is no alternative. Because we have clung to falsehood. We have clung to this falsehood that I am this body. For n number of births, we do not know how many births. Memory is inside you. Memory is inside me. But it doesn't surface. Only the vasana surfaces. Okay? Certain of your traits, certain of your characteristics, certain of your predispositions, if you analyze, you will come to know it is not something that acquired in this lifetime. There is a continuation. You go to a house, somebody has made a nice sambar curry, right? The moment you enter, you will get the smell, good smell, without looking at the vessel in which the curry is there. The same way, vasanas are at play. You don't have to look at really the memories of your previous lifetimes. It is already at work. It is already at play. It surfaces at different stages in life. So, we are a bundle of memories that we acquired in the previous birth and in this birth. It is called ego. It says, it defines you as this body, whereas Atma is untouched. It is limitless. It is unborn, undying. It doesn't wax. It doesn't wane. It doesn't go out of existence. It doesn't come into existence. It always is. That is what is described as Atma, Brahman. That is there you. me right now. Problem? Psychological sense of veil. Like when you look at the sun, just with one finger, if you just close our eyes, looks like the sun has disappeared. The sun has not disappeared. The veil has come. So we need to remove the veil. This is what Bhagavan is teaching. Okay, there could be a number of other methods. Sri Bhagavan says this is the most direct path. No intermediate steps. Seek the source of ego. Ego will topple down. You will realize you are Brahman. That's all. This is what this verse also says. Like how a river, it flows for 2000 kilometers or 1000 kilometers. Finally it goes and merges into the ocean. The moment it enters the ocean, it loses its individuality. The same way, if you do vicharam, self-enquiry, if you find our true nature, this ego which is popping up, which is sprouting all the time, and it is telling a lie. Hey, you are this body man. Hey, you are this body man. Oh, this happened in your life at this age, and you got these goals, and you are an achiever, you are a success, you are a failure, and so on. The storyteller is ever active in the waking state and dream state. What are we going to do with it? We cannot escape. The fellow will always be active. Seek the source, he will topple down. That's all. So long as gas is there, car will run. Now, remove the fuel, it will not run. The same way, if you have too much of desires, too much of commitments, too much of ambitions, if we are too enamored with this life, with this universe, fine. There is nothing wrong about it. Maybe you need to take many more lifetimes in order to release yourself, in order to reach that ever blissful state, ever peaceful state, with the realization that I am Brahman, nothing can touch me. The physical order of the universe in which the body is, I am not. I am Atma in my presence. Because of the power of this presence, the whole physical order happens. And in this, what is the rule? Birth, subsistence, death. Birth, sustenance, death. That applies to all material things in the universe. That is what the Buddha said. All compounded things perish. The same way, what is the comparison? What did Shankara teach? Vivekam, discrimination. He said separate man, woman, tall, short, heat, cold, inside, outside, Atma, Anatma. So, this body comes under the category of Anatma, non-self. Yeah. All the human beings, all animals, all plants, all stars, etc., etc. The entire universe comes under the category of non-self, untruth. Because we are habituated to looking at only the universe. Have you ever thought about the source of the universe? What is the cause of this universe? Who is lying behind this universe? What makes this universe tick? What makes this universe happen? Substratum. Where is it? Inside everything, including this body, mind, all human beings, animals, stones, etc., 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 sky. Inside everything, Atma is there. Problem is, it powers the mind. Through the mind, you can understand it, but you cannot get experience of Atma. You cannot become one with Atma. You cannot become one with Brahman. How will it happen? What is the method? This mind has to die. It has to go. Die in the sense, don't think that after realization we will become mindless. We will forget all our pre-enlightenment stage memories. No. Sri Bhagavan spoke about all his pre-enlightenment memories. He spoke about after enlightenment memories. But only thing is, what we call the mind, ego, will subside and it will become little. It is described that the mind or the ego will be like the daytime moon. What is the use of daytime moon? In the daytime, sun is dominant. He is the king. So Atma will be the king after realization. We will realize that everything is one. That's all. There, if need be, you can use the mind. Sri Bhagavan says, once you realize, the way now you find it difficult to get rid of thoughts, to think thoughts, it's very difficult, right? For you. He says, not to think thoughts for you. It is difficult. For me, he says, it is difficult to think thoughts. Because thoughtless state, the egoless state is described as jnanam. That's what he says in this verse. Nanudiyadhulla nilai, a state in which the I doesn't pop up at all. It goes and merges inside, doesn't pop up, it doesn't sprout, it doesn't lunge, it just L-U-N-G, lunge, it just subsides on inquiry. Ego, vicharam you do, self-inquiry, which is the source of your birthman, ego, it goes and subsides in the source. That's all. This is the mechanism. So, nanudiyadhulla nilai, a state in which ego does not arise at all. Nanudiyadhulla nilai, nam aduva yulla nilai, a state in which we are Brahman. Nanudikkum stanamadai nadamal nanudiya tannilappai sarvadevan. How can you reach that egoless state without seeking the source of that ego? Saramal thanaduvam tannilayil nirpadavan satru. Without attaining that egoless state, how can you be established in your original state? Two should not be there. Trouble. Atma alone is there. It branches, so to say, Atma branches itself into transactional reality, into anatma, into non-self. One only is there, it does everything. All the mischief is done by Brahman only. That is what you are. You appear as the entire universe. You appear as this individual that you are. And you have limited yourself to the capabilities and knowledge of the body, and you suffer. Again with buddhi, intellect, you do vicharam, you come back to your original state. What is this game? This is what is said to be the game. That's all. In all my readings, this is what I have come to know. God was bored. So he wanted to create other human beings because he was all alone, because he is everything. So he created many other individuals, worlds, animals, plants, etc. But he was such a awesome man in his work. He really created other individuals and got into it, and he really forgot himself. Now he felt, uncomfortable because the satisfaction is not there in living as a human being, because there is suffering, there is old age, there is death, etc. So he wanted to get back to his original nature. Who? You. I. We are trying to get back to our original nature through vicharam. So seek the source of the ego. Ego will go. Atma is already shining forth. You will recognize. We are not going to create Atma. Brahman. Who are you? Brahman, fundamentally. What is your secondary nature? Supposed to be this body mind. Upadhi. So let us do vicharam.